Welcome to the Community Leader Podcast, where we talk with successful real estate agents from around the country. Plus, we have discussions with servant leaders who have a vision bigger than themselves and how they're helping their community. Now buckle up. We launch in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Real Estate Agent Community Leaders. I'm here with a very special guest, a friend of mine that I've known for several years. I've watched him build an amazing group and help so many people in the real estate industry, not just agents and brokers, but also companies grow and get their exposure to real estate agents. To me, he is one of the foremost experts I know on our topic today, which is building a community. I would like to welcome from Lab Coat Agents, the founder, Tristan Ahumada. How are you, Tristan?
Good, man. How are you?
Man, I am doing fantastic despite melting because of these hot degrees, but I'm okay.
Now, it's not as hot here.
Yeah, well, man, California, everything's right. You know, perfect weather all the time.
That's funny. That's funny.
So listen, man, we've known each other since, I think, 2016. I came into the Lab Coat ecosystem. There was maybe 50,000 people at that point. And you've grown that group to, what is it now, 150 some odd thousand people?
Yeah, dude, 150 something, 152,000. Let me check. 153,000.
153,000. And the one thing I really want to talk to about the community about today is building community. And community, I think when you first say that word to somebody, they think about the people in their town, the people that are in their neighborhoods. That's my community. But we're in 2022, and community is also online. It's your tribe. It's the people that you interact with, the people that you have influence over, right?
Yeah.
And how did you grow such a big group, and how important is engaging with that group and delivering value in its overall health and engagement?
I think the key has been being as inclusive as possible to differing opinions and ways of doing business. Because what you find is that there are groups of all sizes, right? And some people are okay having smaller groups, very niche oriented. Hey, this is the way you do things, because we're only a niche group for this. I shifted from that early on. When I created the group, it was just on online lead generation, because that's the only thing I was doing right. I'm like, hey, I'm doing something right. And from that, I was able to grow the community pretty big, because I just listened in. I'm like, hey, I think people want to talk about something else here. And I opened it up. I didn't say, hey guys, this is only for, right? The whole purpose of the group was just to help agents grow. And you know what's funny? We're paying attention to what's happening now with the shifting market in 2022. And I kept on seeing, and I keep on seeing, posts by agents coming in and saying, I'm scared. I don't know what to do, right? I haven't had a transaction for a while. And from that, I was like, well, what does that tell me about the direction I need to take the community, right? And so I just said, hey guys, free coaching, here we go. And with one post, we had 3,000 people subscribing a day. It's like, hey, yeah, I'm in. And I was like, okay, I'm paying attention here. And I think that's the key to growing a community. It's like, you've got an audience, just pay attention to what they want and what they need, what they're saying, so that you can continue to grow it. Because things die out too, man. I've seen things die out.
They do. But what you had just said is also the qualities of a good leader in leadership is to listen to what people, the consumer, right? The consumer, if you would, want, what the community want, what the people want, need, and desire. So you're able to see that and recognize, and I don't want to say pivot and change, but adapt and include, right? So you had 3,000 people join your first group coaching. What are you on now? Your second or your third?
I'm going on my 4th session next Tuesday. Yeah. So it's every Tuesday for 30 minutes. I actually sit down and create brand new content with PDF downloads and just give it out to people. So, dude, I'm just surprised more people don't show up. That's all.
Right. When you have somebody that's an authority in the industry, which I would call you an authority, you've spoken at all sorts of events for all sorts of companies. I would consider you an authority in the industry. You're giving something away for free. So let's tell everybody now, how do they sign up for that? Is it a specialized link or it is a Zoom link?
No link, dude. I mean, there is a registration link and it keeps on sending it to you every Tuesday morning. But if you just message me, find me on Instagram or Facebook, and then I'll send you the link. Or just show up inside of the Facebook community and Lab Code Agents.
Mm-hmm.
We play it into the Facebook community, but you and I know that for some reason over the last few years, the Facebook Lives have gone down significantly in the algorithm is not favoring it the same way, right?
It's interesting. If you do it through a third party like Zoom or StreamYard, even more so, right?
Crazy.
Even more so. Try to figure out Facebook, and every time I think I have it figured out, they change me.
I feel like I'm losing every time. I'm like, what happened?
Right.
I suck worse.
Right. Now, listen, man, inside of community, there is dozens of different opinions, dozens of different personalities, dozens of different people that either seem like they need a hug. We know that mental health is a big issue out in the world right now. There's also a lot of good people with kindness. How do you balance that and address a situation like that when you have such a big community where somebody might be coming out of left field? How do you handle that to keep the peace inside of such a large community?
So I've learned that the hard way. And there's two things that come to mind when you say that. And I think the first one is when you see people coming in aggressively, or you see them comment in a way that feels like they're angry, hurt, sad, anything along those lines. I always think, well, they just want to be heard first. And if we come across and say, hey, you know what, you're wrong, you suck, what are you doing? They're not being heard. And so I always try to approach it and say, hey, what's the situation? Tell me, right? And then from there, I can determine where I want to take it. Is this person hurt? Are they just angry? Do they need to just chill out for a little bit? That's number one. Number two is psychologically, human nature, we're all looking out for our best interest, right? We just are. Like, I'm doing things because at the end of the day, it's going to help me get to where I want to get to, right? And I have to put myself first over everyone else because I'm living a life for me. And I know that about everybody else. Everybody else is also looking out for their best interest. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, because that's how you survive and that's how you grow. But sometimes we forget, like, I'm functioning this way, you're functioning that way, and it's okay. And I think if we start with that idea that that's true in almost every instance, we're okay. We're like, oh, it's normal, right? This is why I get along with most people, not everybody, most people, right? And I'm like, oh, you know what? They're just being normal. And then I can start from a place that I know that they're being selfish, I'm being selfish, we all have an ego, and that's okay, right? There are just some egos that are over the top, and those are the ones that you and I just don't get along with, right? That's a whole different story. But I think knowing that in a community where you have, dude, hundreds of thousands of people, there's no way that you can't grow a community by thinking you have total control over it and everyone has to see it the way you're saying it. That's a quick way to fail, get hurt, be angry. You've seen people lead communities that way. We both have, where all of a sudden they're like, I can't take this anymore. I'm taking a day off from social media, right? I'm shutting off the community for a day, right? And then they get into arguments all the way through, and it's like, how is that good for anybody? Right? There's a lot in there, but I think if you and I can approach it in a sense, knowing that people just want to be heard and they're always looking out for themselves first, we start at a better place.
I'm muted. I know I've spent a lot of time working on myself with different internal things, external things, more so learning about me. And it has really helped me become less reactionary and really think. And I know that you have gone through the Stoic principles and everything else like that, which I think greatly help. But people are often reactionary. And we or you more so as that community face, that community leader, can't be reactionary. So how do you not allow what's happening on these different places, or maybe they come in with personal attacks or whatever it might be? How do you overcome that as that leader? How do you not allow it to attack you or attach personally?
So a few things on that. Because I've also gone the other route where I'm like, I hate you. You're an idiot. What the hell are you doing? I've gone that route too, man. So I'm telling you this from failing massively. Okay. The way that you approach it is that you actually have to think way ahead and say, today, I'm going to come across people that are not going to agree with me. They're going to be rude. They're going to be angry. Some are just going to be sad. Right? Mm-hmm. How am I going to react? You already have to have a way that you're going to react. And for me, just online, I already have that. And it's just a heart. I literally, when I'm pissed the F off, and I'm like, this person's a total idiot, right? And I want to respond with something like a paragraph of why they're stupid. I just put a bunch of little hearts. And I just move on. It makes me feel good, right? And it confuses the person that you're doing it to. And to me, I won. And I'm still, because in my head, I have to move on. It's like, for me, I have to be like, this person's probably not in the greatest spot mentally. I don't know what's going on with them. And if I engage, this will go further. So I've already said in my head, how am I going to respond to an angry person or a sad person or anything? I'm going to put little hearts. So you see me putting a lot of little hearts everywhere. Now you know why, right? Yeah. And if we go deeper into this, if you're responding in an aggressive, angry way, there's something up with you. And I know in some days when I'm at the edge and I'm like, oh, whoa, I go, what's up with me? Right? Am I really falling into this whole bait? Right? Somebody's baiting me. And they don't even know it. They're just having a bad day. That means I'm having a bad day because now I'm focusing on that. I could just skip it. I mean, how many times have you and I, Johnny Mo, just said, just skip it. Just go to the next one. Just go to the next one.
Move on, right? So the old saying is true. The choices we make define us, right? So you can choose to engage, or you can choose, hey, I'm going to give you a little bit of kindness and move on. See you later. I'm not going to allow this negativity to attach itself to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you do have to step in in running a larger community or a smaller one. You have to step in and say, hey, this is how we function as a community. We don't allow for these things to happen, right? And you've seen those posts. You've done those posts in lab codes.
I have.
You're like, hey guys, no, none of this crap, please. Yeah. Right? Sometimes we have to step in and do that too.
Yeah. So let's take that community. So we're talking about what I hope everybody understands is we're going to pivot just slightly in community. Community isn't just the people in your town. Now we're going to talk about the people in town, because you built an international real estate group, right? It started out with one person, then two, and then all of a sudden 153 some odd thousand. And it will continue to grow, and it's highly engaged. Agents can build their own community too in their area. Let's just take an average real estate agent, not expansion, not trying to build world domination, but I service the greater Manchester, New Hampshire area or southern New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible for me as an agent to build a sense of online community for, say, Southern New Hampshire?
Dude, I think what you're doing with Explore My Town, I'm going to use that as an example, where
Sure, I appreciate that.
you're going you're going deep, not wide, with different real estate groups, teams, brokerages. I
Mm-hmm.
think that really is the key to communities of the future. There's always going to be one community that encompasses a larger audience of the same mindset or the same fields, right?
Sure.
But the way that you truly connect deeper with people, and I wish we would have done this earlier, and we still haven't, by the way, with lab codes, is go in and say, hey, there's a lab code agents now for Florida. There's a lab code agents for California. And then even go deeper, which is what you're doing, like city by city, town by town.
Yeah.
I think there's value, future value in that more than anything else out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that if we did that, we also run the risk for on our end to dilute the main group, right?
Sure.
And then remember, everything we do is for free, right? So how many people can we hire to do this for free if it's diluted to the point that it's in small groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that becomes a challenge on our end. But I think that is 100% the way to go, because I've seen friends of ours like Blair.
Mm-hmm.
He created Living North Phoenix, 14,000 people inside of the community who live in Phoenix or want to move there. That's valuable, man. I think that's more valuable.
Nikki Klein did the same thing when she started her Boca Raton Moms Connect group, which really helped her springboard her business in a new area. The thing about community is it gives you people to talk to. It gives you people to engage with. It gives you people to share a message to, right?
You know,
Let's talk about that for a second. Message, and it doesn't matter whether you're online or offline. How important is it to have a crystal clear message? And what I mean by that is I just used Nikki. She had a niche, Boca Raton Moms Connect, right? If you're trying to be the divorce attorney, divorce agent, or you want to specialize in probate, these are niches, multi-generational. Did you realize multi-generational sales are about 15% of the total sale call? There's a whole nother niche, right? You can build community around these particular things, but how important is it to have a clear message? And does it really need to be niched down, or does it just need to be crystal clear, like regionally clear?
You know, that message is going to show up in your consistency in showing up, because what happens is people create a perception of what you stand for based on how you show up. And if you're not purposeful in delivering the message, they're going to make up whatever they think you are.
Yes.
And I did that by mistake, right? I just showed up. I didn't have a message to deliver as the group started growing, right? Because initially it was just online lead generation, and then it went everywhere, and then I went everywhere, right? I was like, holy cow, what the hell am I doing? And so over the years, I've embraced that a little bit more. And then recently, I'm just talking about the real estate market, because we have an opportunity to talk about that, not only with the consumer, but with the agent. Everybody's worried right now. So I learned this from London Lazarson. He's got 9 million followers on TikTok.
Wow.
He's a friend of mine, and I watched him grow. Like, went from nobody to, like, all of a sudden every company wanting to hire him, right? And he's built this community on TikTok. And he started with one simple thing. He started his claim to fame from impersonating Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone, because he looks like an older Macaulay Culkin. So he just runs a video side by side and does performs, says the same things that Macaulay Culkin said in one of the Home Alone movies. It's hilarious and stupid. But the thing that he did that was key, and this is what I want to focus on, is that he grew a massive audience with that and then shifted. And now you barely see him post about Macaulay Culkin. Almost never. He's all of a sudden shifted to something else. He brought that audience with him, and now they follow him. Yeah. And I think that if we pay attention to that, we think, all right, grow the audience on something that's trending, something that is special to me, and then grow with it. Because if you don't, people leave. It's like things get boring, man. Things get boring if you're not changing with the times. And so to me, that was like, okay, he niched it out really well. Like, you can't get more niche than I look like Macaulay Culkin and I'm going to copy him on Home Alone movies. It's pretty niche.
That is pretty awesome. I mean, that is fantastic, right? And yeah. I want to maybe this comes into that place, is that he grew an audience based upon his niche, and we can do it based upon our talent or our message or whatever that is. Like, I know you've been putting a lot of videos out being the anti-market crash, right? And I'm on the same lines with you. We're headed to a normal market, right? Unless something big happens in the economy, which we don't know, right? If something mammoth happens, those things, but based upon the numbers, I don't see the market crash. And I see multiple videos and TikToks by you saying, guess what? The market's not crashing, and the people cheering side by side. But it seems like what he had was the power of the parasocial relationship. That's the big buzzword a lot of people want to talk about, where they're getting this likeness to you. It's a one-sided relationship with the media celebrity, for lack of a better word, and he's the media celebrity. So people are like, oh, I connect with this person. Oh, I like his mannerisms. I like the way he talks. I like the message he's delivering. Oh, this guy's funny. So it's almost like they know them. And real estate agents have the biggest opportunity, I think, in their life right now at this particular day and age to do the same thing, because the sale happens when the scales of trust tilt in your favor. When they trust you, the sale happens, or the relationship begins. And all sales have to start with a relationship at some point, right? There's no relationship-less sales. Maybe there is, and it's a small percentage. But it's, even if it's an online lead, you have to build a relationship of trust with that person. And then after, it's a relationship of, a regular relationship with follow-up and everything. And it's a deeper relationship that they're trusting you to give you referrals. But we live in a point where the parasocial relationship is real. What some things do you think between all the social medias, because I know you're active on them all, you also run what's the social one? Drunk on Social, which is another great group. Then that talks about all the different socials. You have all these different things between Reels, Shorts, TikTok, which are all 9:16 shorter form video. Now they're a little bit longer. You have things like regular Instagram video. Facebook has gone Facebook Watch crazy. Long YouTube. All of these tools allow you, LinkedIn, which I think is the most underrated one, where, it might be a little bit smaller, but it's more professional. And you're doing the newsletter, and we're doing the newsletter now because of you. And I think that's a brilliant thing, a brilliant tribe. But what are some things agents can be doing on these different social medias to start to build their community? Should they start with short form, Reels and TikTok?
I think it's a combination of two things, and both have to be done consistently. What we've seen is, if we look at the most visited social media website in the world, it's still YouTube. And to me, that's important, because if I'm going to, now we're thinking about real estate a little bit. Think of real estate, whether you're a real estate agent or the consumer. Over a long period of time with YouTube, you have equity, because I can search for a specific term and it's still going to pop up on Google, right? That's important to me. because I can have a 5, 6, 7-year-old video that's still, actually, I have one that's still performing like crazy. Even though
Yeah.
some of the stuff's outdated, I'm like, why is it still performing so well? Like, because people find it on Google, and Google rewards those. Like, you keep on clicking. It's like, well, we're going to keep on showing it, right? So the long form video is really important because of that, because of Google. The short form video is what's trending right now and what people can consume quickly. But that's where you have to think, like, what is my niche? How do I show up? Right? What do I need to do on a consistent basis where I'm
Mhm.
comfortable with that I'm going to show up daily? And I'm going to show up and do the same thing slightly different. Because here's the thing, as I was thinking as you were talking, Johnny Mo, and I was thinking, what do we need to do here to create this relationship that you're talking about with our audience? And I wrote down, I said, people want the certainty of knowing what you stand for
Yeah.
and the spontaneity of bringing something new. And that's what people can really connect with. It's like at that point, it's exactly like what you said. We're almost like you can be a celebrity on social media. We just have to make sure that the message is clear. Like you said, like what is it that we're going to bring to the table? Right. And am I seeing you often so I can create that trust? It's like because I like you. You just have to show me more of you. And when you're there, oh, it's the same thing I subscribed for the first time. Oh, this is cool. I like it. I know what to expect. And it's a little bit different every time.
Yeah.
So,
That I like that. Long form equals Google, short form equals quick, right? And
yeah.
what
And
they're
there's,
consuming.
there's one thing that came out. I'm trying to find it right now, but I couldn't. About 4 days ago, there was a report that came out that showed that Gen Z is starting to use TikTok like Google. So on the search bar, they're typing in how to, and then short videos pop up.
Hmm.
And Google's like, hold on, because Google found out. They're like, hold on a second. That's true. People are doing that on TikTok. How can we get ahead of that? Right. So to me, there's an opportunity on our end. If we start creating videos on TikTok that start answering questions in the same way we would create videos on YouTube that are longer form,
Hmm.
but now we're looking to do it in short form. It's like, now answer my questions based on what your niche is, man. If your niche is growing communities, well, let's talk about that on TikTok often and answer questions. And then what they're looking at with TikTok specifically, not only is it important in the description, but it's also important on the actual screen when you type in those words, right?
Yeah.
That's important. And what you're verbally saying, because TikTok's listening to you and so is Instagram. And that determines where they place you on that search. I'm
Hmm.
like, wow, that's pretty crazy to me.
That is crazy, and it is crazy. And you mentioned Gen Z, and I wanna talk about Gen Z, but I also want to talk about millennials. For this specifically for real estate agents, be where the consumer is. I've been for the past couple of weeks getting a new presentation ready for August 1st or 2nd that I present about video, digital, and social. And Cisco, to me, I was a network engineer during the .com. Cisco is like it for me, man. I was Cisco certified. They are it. If Cisco is saying it, I believe it. I don't even have to
Yeah.
validate it. They said that about 86% of all global traffic, internet traffic,
Mm-hmm.
they said this in 2019. By 2022, will be video. They also said that 79% of the mobile data delivered to your telephone will be video. Now, that includes TikTok and YouTube and Netflix and Amazon Prime and those types of things. So we need to be where the consumer is. And if we take a look at that Gen Z, they're coming up next. So I often say this, it probably gets overused. Real estate agents are focused on this right now, the here and now, the lead generation, door knocking, cold calling. They're looking for
Mm-hmm.
that sale right now. I'll give this to you. I'm focused about this. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I'm thinking 2, 4, 10 years down the road, right? What is my business going to look like 10 years from now? And how do I get this big lion's share of pie? And so if I think in that way, millennials is the second largest population group by generation, right? Baby boomers first, millennials second. Gen Z accounts for 19.2% of the population, right? And millennials were like 22% or something. And then Gen X was like 18.9. And Gen X goes up to maybe 50 something, early 50s. That's me. And if YouTube attracts more 18 to 49-year-olds than all of cable combined, then you first have to say, I need to play to that audience. But you hit on such a powerful point that the Gen Z is using TikTok. Now, I know one of the issues that people face, it's normal, is they get discouraged because they don't get a lot of views, maybe. And I know some of your videos have gotten tens of thousands of views, but I also know some of yours have gotten hundreds, right? Yeah. They don't all get views. So it's consistency. It's the perseverance to keep doing it over and over. But is there anything else?
Yeah, Johnny, well, that's a really good point. There's a lot to unpack there. When it comes to videos and showing up on a platform, what I've noticed is that once you're comfortable enough to show up almost daily on one platform and you've identified what it is that you're going to show up as or who you're going to show up as, then it's time to start showing up in other platforms consistently. And what I found is that some of the videos that I do give me, let's just say, 100 views on one platform. That same video does maybe 3,000 views on a different platform. Then that same video does 50,000 views on a different platform. And then the reverse happens. It's like this video does well over here, and this one did crappy over here and crappy over here. So the thing you do well with, if you're thinking like, what should I be looking forward to do in the near future, is once you've identified where you're going to show up consistently, make sure you do more of that in the other platforms consistently. So spread yourself after you've gone deep in one. And there's a graphic that I was looking at yesterday, 2 days ago, where it's showing along the same lines of what you said, video, right? Check this out. This is just video, okay? Monthly usage, and I have it in front of me, so I'm cheating. I'm not doing this off of memory. Monthly usage, how many hours do users spend on each platform per month? Number one place is YouTube, 23.7 hours per month per user. That's almost a whole day, right? Number two is TikTok at 19.6 hours. Catching up to YouTube, dude. That's crazy.
Sure.
And number three is Instagram at 11.2. That's monthly usage. I mean, nobody's close to YouTube on monthly active users. They're at 2.5 billion worldwide, where TikTok's only at 1 billion, right? So monthly active users, nobody's catching up to YouTube anytime soon, because, I mean, what happens when you type stuff up on Google? The first video thing that shows up is YouTube, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking, like, out of the views now that I'm looking at, how can we capture more of that? And I think it comes down to understanding what the demographic is for each of these platforms. And that's where, if we look at the three, the one that's kind of equal all across the board is YouTube. You have the youngest generation on YouTube almost daily. You have the older generation still, if they need to watch, if they need to understand something, they're like, how do I? And then the middle generation, how do I? And then they type it into YouTube or Google. But across the board, YouTube is still winning. And what you find is that younger generation, where you have from ages 10 to about late 30s, is now dominating TikTok, right? But out of those, you still have a small percentage of that in comparison to YouTube in the United States on TikTok. And that to me is important because our target audience is the United States, right? That's what we're targeting. So if I'm looking at that, I'm like, damn, maybe I should start on YouTube with longer form video and then cut it up into pieces and then throw it into TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. But my sole social outlet goal here is to grow on YouTube first, and everything else happens after. I think that would be a great way of doing it.
I think that's wise, and I'm gonna bring up some things that I focus on about YouTube. I don't look at YouTube the same way as most people. I look at YouTube as a hosting platform first and an indexing feed to Google, right? So when you learn to be able to, anybody can do what I'm about to say, and this is kind of what we do, is we try to hack Google searches through YouTube. So if you're looking for jewelers near me or jewelers in this town or something else like that, we want to pop up on the first page for that. If you're looking for crystals in Portland, Oregon, and you type in the Crystal Guide, which is a store there, one of our partners created a blog with a video and everything. They come up there. The video comes up on YouTube a little bit later. The unique power that Google has is that you got 5,000 words or 5,000 characters that you can put all sorts of stuff in there to rank your contact information, your hyperlinks, and everything else like that. That's, I think, one way that is brilliant in what you're saying is start with YouTube and then go to the other platforms. The other thing, too, is Facebook. Facebook also gets indexed inside of Google. So that's another thing where if you put the business name in the title and put a thumbnail, you're going to show up. You will show up. Not the first time, not the second time. And these are kind of some of the things that we do, part of the distribution plan. But another hack that I will give everybody right now is, since you're doing all this stuff to appease Google, are you doing Google announcements through your Google business page or Google, whatever they call it this week? And if you do an announcement, Google allows you to put a link in there, learn more. You can actually drop a link, and I think you get 1,000 characters or something like that, 1,250, 1,500 maybe. But you can put a hyperlink there too, so you can have a link that goes one place, and if somebody clicks on it, they can be pixelated. And if they click on learn more and it brings you over to your YouTube, well, they landed on your YouTube page, right? So there's so many different ways to use these technologies that are out there. I don't think people should get discouraged if their TikTok's not growing, right?
No.
You will get there. There was something in Lab Coat Agents today, I think it was Lab Coat Agents, where somebody asked, is somebody killing it on TikTok? And this guy's like, I've made over $500,000 directly from my TikTok, right? Selling real estate. And I'm like, wow, that's fabulous. But when you go look at the guy TikTok, he's in it to win it, right? He's not showing up to he's not dancing with stupid words, right? Thinking that, no, this is what 1.1 million gets you in San Diego. Let's go take a look, right? This is what people are engaging with. And one of our partners in Asheville, North Carolina, big luxury market down there, her daughter's been doing the same thing. This is what 1.2 gets you for a condo, right? And she's getting a lot of engagement on that on her TikTok and on her Instagram. So understand what each platform wants and the users on each platform wants, but do not ignore that almighty Google. Google is not the platform. Google is the gatekeeper, right? Gatekeeper to all platforms.
So true, man.
So we're running out of time. We went a little over, but man, this is fascinating conversation. You and I don't get a chance to have these conversations all too often. Let's two things. I want one piece of advice for real estate agents who are worried right now, might be new right now, not for the seasoned agents, they're going to figure it out. But for somebody that's come in the past couple of years that experienced an amazingly crazy market, or trying to break on social, trying to get that break, what's a piece of advice that you can give somebody right now that they can implement?
Dude, a lot of things come to mind, but if you want to get quick results on growth, I think you look to where the consumer is, right? We have to look to where the consumer is going. Doesn't matter if it's your past clients, your database, your sphere, or anybody. They go to Google first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they go to YouTube, then they go to Facebook, then Twitter, then Instagram, and even TikTok up in the top 20. But if you know it's Google first, then you might want to create a plan around Google. Like, what does that look like, right? If you want to get some business from there, what are your reviews look like? Do you have a business page? Are you on YouTube? Because that's part of Google, right? How often are you showing up there? Are you blogging, right? And if you have some money, are you throwing it at Google PPC? Because guess who is on a bigger scale? Zillow, Realtor.com, and Redfin, because they show up on my feed all the time on the ad section.
Yeah.
But the Google, do you want to play? You want to get some business right now? It's Google. Google's the #1 place to show up on, and you need a plan for it.
Yeah. Go all in on Google. I don't disagree. I think everything that we do, blogging, YouTube, right? All these things go to play in reviews. LSA, right? Local LSA, so important, right? Get verified. You've got to be seen. How many reviews do you have? Get them all. Get every one of the reviews. And here's something I propose to explore my town people this week. And I'm gonna give it to everybody right now. You can use it too. You get a new Zillow, you get a new Google review, you get a new review of any sort. Record a 15-second video of yourself, 30-second video of yourself on your phone saying, look at this gleaming review. I really enjoyed working with this person. If you're looking for a 5-star review, I can help you. Just reach out to me. Listen, you don't even need any editing skills. You can trim that down on your phone. Upload them both to Canva. Get yourself a circle frame. Drag the circle frame over. Drag your video in. Download it as MP4. Now you got a video that you can put out there that's uniquely different.
Dude, right? That's a really good idea.
Right?
You can put that everywhere.
Everywhere. People are going to see that. People are going to see those reviews and stuff like that. You can have listings that just sold. Guys, I really loved working with this luxury listing. It was so amazing when you walked in. If you're thinking about moving to the area, and again, knowing your luxury market, knowing your demographic, if you're going to retire to this community, I would love to help you like I've helped hundreds of other people. Just click on my link, but take a look at this house. This house is something amazing, right? There's so many different ways that you can use Google, right? And use free video things. But the reviews, I can't express enough how important reviews are. People are going to look at it, right? People
Hold on. Dude, I don't know where we're ever going to finish this podcast, but hold on.
Part 2.
I want to add one thing because the reviews are important, but there was, as you know, I'm always doing research. There was a great, I sent this to Gary Keller. I'm like, dude, read this. And let me find it. Here it is. So Twitter did research recently on the way that social media impacts purchases. And Facebook does the same thing. So does Snapchat, and they're really good research. The thing that I found here, though, is that what Twitter said across the board is the same on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and everywhere else. They said this: 56% of shoppers consider social brand conversation more or as impactful as traditional reviews. So the social brand conversation, what we're noticing is at par right now with reviews. What we found through this research is that reviews are extremely important, but it's kind of like a stepping stone in that direction, which is like, okay, what have people said in the past or recent past about you? Now, let's take it a step further. What is social media actively right now alive saying right now about the brand, about you? And this is why I love Explore My Town, because social media, the one that you do, all these videos that live live here in different platforms, they add to the review section, dude. It's like, okay, I just read what somebody said about you. Now let me watch you live to me. What is that conversation happening? Whether it's you or somebody else, like you just said, somebody else, dude, you just won it over at that point because you hit on reviews and the brand conversation and you merged them. So
Yeah.
just wanted to add that.
Imagine doing a Google announcement with that video, right? Somebody's going to Google, they're looking, they see you, they see your reviews, they click on, oh my, what's this announcement? Hey, this was an interview that I did with so-and-so in the property. Now all of us, there's so many different ways. It's not everybody. I don't mind sharing because not everybody's going to do it, right? And it's not that much work. I believe first and foremost, real estate agents and marketers, I'll believe that until the day that I die. We need to spend more time marketing, more time uncovering what the consumer wants are, more time trying to be different. There's 1.65 million real estate agents out there. How are you different? How are you being heard? How many agents are in your How many agents are in your association or MLS? 15,000, 20,000?
I don't know. There's 400,000 real estate agents, not realtors, real estate agents in California.
Well, how do you be heard? Right? That's the thing. Hey, man, we could talk all day about this stuff, but I know you got things to do, and I got to go eat lunch because, you know, I got to keep this fine figure. But how do people – oh, there you go. I got Chipotle sitting downstairs. How do people find you, Tristan? What's the best way to connect?
Easiest place to go on is just Instagram. Just find my name, Tristan dot my last name, Ahumada. It's Ahumada, and just message me or follow me. That's it, man.
And I'll tell you what, guys, he's got so much good content. He puts out this amazing newsletter a couple times a week from the Brilliant Tribe, and it's just awesome, real content. He shares different things in different areas, but you can't help but learn from somebody like him. He has built an amazing community in Lab Coat Agents and with the Drunk on Social crew and, you know, with Leverage, you know, talking about virtual assistants and everything like that. And let me just say about Leverage real quick. Leverage, you have an acronym. We can't go without learning this acronym. And people, I wanted to say this earlier, but we're talking about too many good things. Showing up to social media, we got to have a plan. We all agree upon that. But a lot of people don't have a plan. They don't know where to begin. You have an acronym, STAY, S-T-A-Y. What does that stand for?
I have two acronyms.
Okay.
So we're never going to finish. I love this. STAY is one to create the content, and LCM is to create the engagement you want. So there's two. Okay. Content is STAY. You cycle through this daily. If you're only going to post one time a day, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to talk. You're going to sell with a story. That's S. You're going to teach me something, right? You're going to give me advice on something that you love, a hobby, show me something that you collect or that you do for fun, and then talk about yourself, food, what you're going to wear today, where you're going, what your pet is, right? What you're eating, like you're eating Chipotle, I'm eating eggs, right? That's STAY, and you circulate through that. And then on the other side for engagement and growth, because this is a sport. This is a high touch sport here. Sure is. Social media. It's like, comment, message. When you're scrolling through, you know, I learned this 2 weeks ago from somebody who created an app called Squad. It's a brand new app. And she mentioned something to me. She said, social media is 1990. And I go, what the hell is 1990? She's like, 1% are creators. 9% are people that actually comment and engage and like your stuff, right? And 90% are lurkers. I'm like, oh, that's accurate. That's so true. That's so true. I go, I love that. I'm going to use that. And so with that, your job is to engage those people that just never feel comfortable engaging, but they show up on your feed sometimes, right? It's like, hey, they posted something finally after like a year, right? Or after like months. You like, you comment, and then you message them and you make them feel significant, because psychologically, the reason we post to social media is because we want to feel significant. We want somebody to say, I like that. Good job. Or that's cool. Or I'm sorry you're going through that. Or that's terrible. Right. And we have to fall into that because that's part of the game. You're right. It is part of the game. And the dopamine rush is real.
This book changed my life. It stays on my desk as a reminder.
Such a great book, dude.
I went from being the product, the consumer, to being the machine. And what I mean by that is exactly what you just said. I'm not the lurker. I'm on there trying to build something. And in order to build something and build followings and engage with people, you have to do LCM. You have to do LCM.
Dude, the reason that the society we live in has a problem with social media is because they're lurkers. Mm-hmm. That's why. We don't treat it like a business or a place that we can go to learn from and grow and actually connect with other people.
That's right. That's right. I agree with that. I'm going to give my acronym real quick. This is the one.
What is it?
Local, LOCAL. Well, right. Support local. So I had to do local. L is for leverage. And this will help you in your business, but it can also give you something to talk about. For me, as a, I don't even like to say as a leader, but I humbly accept it for my position. Leverage and the different things you can do through leverage. Overcoming fear, adversity, whatever situation. Consistency, we can agree, is like one of the keys on the key ring to success. A, attract, and then L is loyalty. So that's what I focus on, and my daily messages will somehow revolve around that, because again, my message is, I'm straight business, right? I'm straight. Let's grow our business. Let's work together. Let's build community. I'm not on there dancing like a panda. You'll never see me on there dancing like a panda. Ever.
On the loyalty one, can you expand on that? What do you mean on the loyalty side?
So if you're delivering a consistent message, a good consistent message, you're going to attract people. Now, when you start to attract people and grow, they're going to become loyal, right? They are going to say, oh, this person put out a new episode, or, hey, I got to stop to watch this. Every time I see one of your reels, I watch it. You know why? Because I know it's going to be a good message. There's some other people out there in this world that's like, scroll right by, right? So that's what I mean by loyalty, is your tribe is going to become loyal to you if you consistently put out a good message.
I love that, man. Thank you.
Yeah. That's just what I follow. I actually have a banner made on it, and that's what we bring to our speaking things now. So
I like that, man.
So, you inspired me to do it. You inspired me to do it.
We're full of acronyms.
Right. So y'all listen, man, if you want to follow Tristan, you find him up on Instagram. You want to join a community that's, talks about all sorts of stuff. And the untold thing about Facebook is you go to Lab Coat Agents, join the group, and you click on files. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of documents from people that have shared, right? So it is a community of sharing. Yes, you got to go through every once in a while somebody that comes in like an angry, hungry bear looking for a salmon, but, you can just bypass that. So much good. If you're looking for good, you'll find good. But come to the Lab Coat Agents group. Come over to Drunk on Social. They got cool things going. Leverage is another great group. If you want to come over to my group, where we talk about, this is what we talk about. We talk about community, sphere of influence, networking, and video. That's the real estate community leaders. You can find them all on Facebook. I look forward, Tristan, I want to thank you. This is one of my favorite things, because we don't get a chance to talk a lot, but we have talked about so much. And I want to thank you for your time, because I know that it's valuable, and I appreciate you. Y'all listening, thank you for being here. Take a look for us on the next episode.